Friday the 13th, everyone. Kansas has decided to celebrate the day with a bang. Kind of in a lull right at the moment, but severe thunderstorms and a tornado watch to bring it in, I guess. But yeah, crazy weather day. Hopefully I can record this and not have a bunch of accompanying thunder in the background. We'll see. If you've been to the channel before, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, hello and welcome. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends and family. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and that way you can be notified when I post another video. And yeah, let's see. Today is my first of 2 review videos. I do say happy Friday the 13th. This video won't actually go up until the following Tuesday. I'm just recording it on the 13th. So, but as of today, the 13th, all my Disney vlogs are up and the hauls are up. So with that, I wanted to do the reviews because I know that there are some, I guess we'll say, holes maybe. I didn't do that great of a job on voicing my opinions and all of that during the vlogs themselves. So that's what this video is for, and the next review that I will also do. So I wanted to shore up any holes that I may have inadvertently created, and also just having this video will help kind of create like a nice little, I guess, resource or kind of a future reference for not just the viewer, you the viewer, but also for me to come back later, say if I go later this year or maybe 3 years down the road where I want to be like, did I like that experience? You know, that way I don't have to pick through all of the vlogs again. I can just come back to this one video and be like, oh, that's right, I'd like to do that again because it was pretty decent. So I will apologize in advance because it's a lot to go through, so it might be a little bit long. I'm gonna try not to ramble too terribly much. I do have notes so I can try to stick to them the best I can. So I will start kind of at the top. What is it that you need to get into the park? But your ticket. So this go around I had an annual pass, and this thing is probably my most coveted, I'm gonna call souvenir, because it's a hard copy. Like, it is a hard copy of the pass holder. It's a card, so it is something that I'm gonna covet forever. I so enjoy the fact that I get to have this, and whether I renew it or not, which I plan on renewing. This is my most coveted souvenir that I have. So I've gone 2 times now. 1 time with just a regular ticket, and this last time with the pass holder. So this is the Disney Platinum Pass. It is the middle one. There are 3, so there's a lower one that is just like the pass holder to the 2 water parks, and then there is 1 step above which gets you into the 2 water parks, the 4 main theme parks, and the ESPN something sport experience. So as you can imagine, one above is more expensive and the one below is cheaper. So this one is the middle one. The one that I have is the Disney Platinum Pass. It's the middle one, and as of today it costs $849. And with it is 1 year to all 4 of the parks. So that's Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios. No blackout dates, so you could go every single day if you wanted, if you could get there every day. It is a park hopper ticket, so you could go to all 4 of them in the same day if you wanted. You get up to 20% off select dining and merchandise. Some of your dining could be 10%, so it's just up to 20%. It's standard park parking, so if you have your own vehicle, your $20 park fee for one every day is waived. That comes in the pass. And it includes Memory Maker. So that's a savings, and I'll get into that here in a second. And then this is just it was such a huge savings. While yes, and the $849 doesn't include taxes, so you add like another $50, $60 probably onto that. Just to tell you, like, when we went, it was 10 days altogether. Take off the 2 travel days and take off Universal, so 8-day park hopper. So for today's prices, I looked it up just a minute ago, so an 8-day park hopper with the memory maker, with tax, $701.50. So you add another $150 on there, you have an annual pass. I mean, the savings is unreal. Merchandise, you get exclusive merchandise. You can't see it underneath, but I have the annual pass Epcot shirt that only annual pass holders can get to. We got a free watercolor bell print that only annual pass can get to. I mean, there's a lot of savings, there's a lot of free member perks. I don't regret this whatsoever. If you're only going to be there for 3 or 4 days and you're only paying, you know, $200-300 for your park tickets, maybe not as much of a savings because you're going to be putting out $400 or $500 extra just for the annual pass. Maybe not as much of a savings, but if it's only another $100, $200 to get this, the savings was there. I don't regret this whatsoever. To renew this, I get a 15% discount essentially to renew, and then if it's not activated, so say you want to buy this tomorrow, you would pay the $849. Say you're not going to go for another 3 years. As long as this isn't activated, this doesn't expire until December of 2030, I think. So you're fine until 2030. You can use it whenever. But as soon as you activate it, it'll expire in 365 days after you activate it. So mine will expire in February of 2019. So, and then Memory Maker, which is included with the annual pass. If you want to just buy it, it's $169 if you buy it before your trip, and then it's $199 if you buy it like right during your trip. So immediate use, it's $199. For advanced purchase, it's $169. It's more than worth it. It's non-refundable, but they're unlimited downloads, digital downloads. You can get pictures for select character dining, select attraction photos and videos. So like Frozen Ever After, there's a picture they take during the ride. Pirates has a picture they take during the ride. And then that loads to your app with the PhotoPass stuff. There's discounts on prints. We didn't do prints, we download them through the app. There are magic shots. I'll probably put one in here. There are a lot of really good, you can request them I guess, but there's a lot of like PhotoPass photographers that they'll have you pose and then they'll put like Tinkerbell in your hands. Like they'll have you like cup your hands and then they'll be like, look at your hands and look surprised, and they'll be like, and then when you get the photo in your, like through the app, there'll be Tinkerbell in your palms and you're looking at her surprised because you're like, oh man, Tink's in your hands. So those are magic shots and you can get those. And if you don't have Memory Maker, for you to download them, like you can use PhotoPass and then they'll show up in your app. There'll be a watermark on them, and for you to download them, it costs you like, say, $4.99 per download, which is expensive, but if you're only going to download one, it's cheap, whatever. But if you end up downloading a ton, you're going to spend more money in the long run than if you would have just bought Memory Maker. So the Memory Maker, if you bought them just on without the annual pass, they expire 45 days from the date they were taken. If you have annual pass, they expire 365 days after the day they were taken. So if it was taken today, then it'll expire 365 days after today. Memory Maker was amazing. I might just insert a few pictures My advice to you is to have fun with the photo pass. Our first go around, we were sort of serious with it, like kind of the, okay, take good pictures, smile real big, we need to be serious with it. If you be silly and take good pictures, or well, be silly and have fun, the good pictures just happen. I cannot even begin to tell you how awesome our pictures turned out. Some of it is because the photographers were amazing, and just the fact that we were having a good time, it showed through. We literally had hundreds of pictures from the photo pass. Every photographer we saw, we were like, hey, let's go get our picture taken, and they would take 2 or 3 of each of us, because we get our ones individually and then we get one as a group. So I don't know how many, I mean hundreds of pictures, and then we were there for 8 days in the park, hundreds of pictures, and then we have unlimited downloads for all of those. So tons and tons and tons of pictures. I mean, we more than got our money's worth out of the memory maker, and I can't express enough how worth the memory maker was. And then I'll probably mention a couple more times, but for any place, if you have like a magic moment, we had several with the PhotoPass photographers. There's a place on Twitter, and I think it's Walt Disney World Today is their Twitter account, and you tweet at them and go, hey, you need the cast member's name, this person who was a PhotoPass at this location did such an amazing job, they made a magic moment, and then you hashtag cast compliment, and they'll get that cast member. They essentially print out your tweet, they make it into like almost like a certificate, and they give the cast member that your compliment, and then sometimes they'll take a picture with the cast member in your compliment, and then they'll tweet it back at you, or they'll at least tweet back at you thanking you for your compliment. And I don't know how many times between like the servers and the photographers and just all these different people for how they made our magic moments or our vacations more magical with the magic moments. I mean, cast compliment is such an amazing thing. Like, I highly recommend that if a cast member gave you a magic moment, to tweet at them to tell them that they gave you a magic moment. It's a fantastic thing to let them know that this cast member was amazing at their job. I'll probably mention it a couple more times because that's an important thing to do. So the next thing, Port Orleans Riverside. That's where we stayed. It's the only place that I stayed, but I can't recommend it highly enough. It was gorgeous. The grounds were amazing. I love horses. I've only ridden like a couple times, but I may not be very good with riding horses or have enough experience with riding horses, but I love to observe horses, maybe is what I'll say. And there are horse-drawn carriages, and it was wonderful to watch the horses as they went by. So it's a Disney Moderate Resort, which means that they have queen-size beds. If you have a value resort, then you can only get doubles, and that's the largest bed that they'll go. So moderate is the first, or moderates are the first resort that you can get queen-size beds. And then they've got essentially 2 types of rooms. So they've got the standard room, and then they've got the royal guest rooms. Royal guest rooms are just fancy, like princess rooms. That's what we stayed in, which were gorgeous. I would recommend it to anyone, but the royal guest rooms are just princess themed rather than just the Bayou or Princess and the Frog themed or whatever. It's pretty much just the theming that's different. So our room just had all the princesses in it, and like the princes and stuff. So it's essentially the theming that's different in the room, not necessarily the size. It was super quiet, incredibly private. I don't know if it was just the time of year that we went or what, but we saw nearly nobody. we could tell people were in there, like in the rooms around us, in the mornings and the evenings when we could hear the showers running and stuff, but didn't hear anybody running past, didn't hear anybody stomping around in the rooms, nothing. Like, it was super quiet. It was amazing. I mean, we weren't in the rooms all that much, but it was just incredibly quiet. It was wonderful. There are 24-hour laundry services, which we use twice, and for packing and stuff, like if you're gonna stay there for a long time, I would pack half the amount of clothes that you need and then wash your clothes. It takes credit and debit cards. If you could find time to do clothes, that's how I would limit your packing needs. It worked out for us wonderfully. If that's something that you can work in, that's how I would do it. It worked wonderfully. The biggest and the best perk for being, I mean, other than it just being convenient for location purposes, for being on resort, sending your stuff back to resort. So if you purchase anything on park, or like in the parks, you can send it back to the resort. You don't have to carry your souvenirs. That was probably the best thing that we'd ever had to mess with. You buy anything, you don't want to carry it, you send it back to the resort, and then you pick it up. In this case, for Riverside, you pick it up at the general store, which was Fulton's, and you didn't have to mess with it. The only thing with that is you have to have, I think they tell you 24 hours, but you probably need a little bit more than 24 hours left on your resort stay, because it takes 24 hours for them to ship it from wherever you bought it. So if you're purchasing something at the Big Top in Magic Kingdom back to Riverside, you need a little bit more than 24 hours to get it there before you can pick it up. The best thing ever. Like, if you can buy whatever it is you're gonna buy at the first part of your trip, you're gold. Like, send it back to the resort. It's the easiest thing ever. The only thing that I can say that's bad, and it's probably going to be bad for all the resorts, and it's the same for hotels, like it's gonna be the same for everything. The only thing I can't speak to is maybe like the deluxe resorts, like the high-end super duper expensive ones, are the pillows. The pillows were absolute crap. If you can sleep on a thin pillow, you're gold, you're fine. The pillows were so thin, it was incredibly hard to sleep. The pillows were, it was one of those things, like it was way too thin to sleep on one pillow, but they were just too thick to sleep on two pillows, and it was just a recipe for uncomfortableness. Like, I couldn't sleep. My neck was so messed up that I had to resort to buying this, a decor pillow, in order to sleep. And this set me back like $27, something like that, for this. It was, I think this was 30 bucks, and then with my annual pass it made it like $26 or something. This I was not planning on purchasing, and if not for the pillows I wouldn't have bought it, but I needed this to save my life because my neck was so messed up from the pillows being so very thin. So either bring your own pillow, or if you can sleep on a thin pillow, then you're fine. But my one big complaint about the resort, and it's probably going to be the same complaint throughout any of the resorts, just because they're so heavily used, probably would be my guess. How to get from resort to the parks. So all the transportation, we did ride each type. So we rode the buses, the monorail, and a boat. The buses, like, I won't go into, you know, the boats and the monorail. Those are pretty standard for the most part. I have heard a lot of complaints about the buses. Buses are buses, like, they're free and they got to where we needed to go. I can't really say too much about them. If you don't want to be cramped on the bus, either get there really incredibly early to beat the rush so you can be the first one on so you can get a seat and not have to stand, or wait. Let it go and wait for the next bus and prolong your wait at the bus depot, and just wait. practice some patience. We had to do that a couple different times, and we were in good spirits. Like, it was kind of amazing. The people who were running, like the cast members who were running the bus depot, that seemed to be prepared for us to be rude to them because we didn't want to be crammed onto the bus. And then we were just like, it's good, we'll wait for the next one. And then they were like, wait, what? It's like, you know, we're not in a hurry, we're just going back to the room, like, no big deal. And then there were a bunch of grumbly people going, well, where's the bus? Like, it's like, well, you could cram yourself on there, or you could wait 10 minutes for the next one. Like, the buses go every 15 minutes, so just practice some patience. The bus will be there. And we actually had really good luck with the buses. We didn't really have to wait very long. I think the longest the longest wait we had was probably 10 minutes, and like, it wasn't that big, and 10 minutes was worth the wait to not be crammed into a bus, and we found that to be more than worth it. So our philosophy was patience, and patience won, and we weren't uncomfortable. So I don't know where the complaints came from. Maybe it was during a more busy time in the parks. So we just found that as long as you're patient, the buses weren't a problem. So I don't know. I would I guess recommend that if you can exert some patience, wait for the next bus and not try to force yourself on. Let people go by. If they want to cram themselves on the bus, then have at it. I'm gonna wait for the next one. There were a lot of people who were like, well, if you're not going on, I am. I mean, have at it, go ahead. I'm in no big hurry. I had 8 days to be in the parks. Those parks are open 12 hours, like 30 minutes isn't gonna, make or break my day. Not a big deal. So patience is the big key for any of those transportations. It was amazing how much more comfortable the rides were if you just practice patience. So then the last part of it is the rides and experiences. So most of the rides we had fast passes for, and I'm pretty much just going to go through like the rides, like the more major rides, and whether we had fast passes for them, and whether I felt like they were worth the wait, whether I liked them or not, and whether I'd ride them again. Some of them are kind of a no-brainer, like they're more popular, of course I'd ride them again. How much I liked them, how much I didn't, that kind of thing. So the first one, rode it for the very first time this last go around, which was Avatar Flight of Passage. We had a fast pass for it, and it was well worth it for the fast pass. I've heard several people, my best friend waited 4 hours to ride it. I get motion sick incredibly easily, and I actually had my eyes shut for most of the ride. I would go again, even with my eyes closed. It was definitely worth the ride. So I definitely would recommend it. It was definitely cool for what little bits I could watch and could experience. It was quite an adventure to ride. Frozen Ever After, we actually rode this twice. So the first time we had a fast pass for it, and then as soon as we got off, it was like a 30-minute wait when we got off, and we were like, nope, we're going right back on. And then we waited, and then the wait wasn't actually 30 minutes, it felt more like, I don't know, 15 or something minutes. And we went right back on it, and that ride is amazing. If you ever get a chance, whether you fast pass, wait, it doesn't matter. That ride is worth every second of your wait, of your fast pass, it doesn't matter. Definitely ride that ride. Haunted Mansion is my favorite. It's worth it. I don't know why I like that ride so much, I just do. We fast passed it this time, but I love that ride. Jungle Cruise, we had the fast pass. I didn't actually record it, so it didn't make it into the vlogs, but it's punny. Like, it's kind of a stupid, silly ride, but we enjoy it. I don't know. I don't know if it'd be worth a wait, but maybe like a 30 or 45 minute wait, but not like a 2-hour wait. Living with the Land, I like that ride a lot. I like the educational factor to it, I guess. I enjoy that a lot. One of these days I want to do the whatever that seed, the backstage by the seeds thing where they take you back behind it. I want to do that one day. But Living with the Land, we had the fast pass for it. PhilharMagic, we just walked on. It was just a few minute wait. This is another one that I can't actually watch a lot of it. I either have to look down at the back of the seats in front of me or have my eyes closed. I can't watch a lot of it because it makes me motion sick. But it's definitely worth watching. It's still a really good show. Noby River Journey. So this was the first time we rode this one as well. We had a fast pass for it the next day because it's like an A category, and you can't have two A category fast passes in the same day. So we had Flight of Passage one day and Noby River the second day, but it was the only fast pass on the second day. So we waited for it, waited in line for it the same day that we did Flight of Passage, because we were trying to open up the next day. So we waited in line for Noby River for like an hour and a half, and this ride was kind of a disappointment. It was like 5 minutes. I mean, it felt like 3. Visually, it's stunning. It is a beautiful ride, but it just flew past. It was, you got in the boat and then suddenly you were out of the boat. You were done. And for an hour and a half wait, it didn't seem worth it. It wasn't done. Like, it just doesn't, the ride wasn't worth the wait. So if you have a fast pass, definitely worth it to be right on the ride and be done. If you're waiting for it, I don't know. I feel like it's worth at least one ride, but then not worth it. I wouldn't ride it again. Like, I did it once and that's it. I wouldn't ride it again. I don't need to. Fast pass or not, I wouldn't ride it again. Peter Pan's Flight. So we had a fast pass, and this one is another one that you're in and out. Like, you get into the ship and then you're out of the ship. Like, it goes by so very fast. And every time I'm just like, why do we ride this ride? But it's such a classic ride, and I love Peter Pan, but I don't know why I feel the need to ride it every time. But it's one of those, like, we have to ride it every time, but I wouldn't wait in line for it. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that we had the fast pass, I wouldn't wait for this ride. It's like a required ride. We have to ride this ride every time. But if we couldn't get a fast pass, we wouldn't do it, if that makes sense. Pirates of the Caribbean. It's probably my next favorite ride. I love that ride. We actually rode it 2 times. We waited for it the first time, and we probably waited like 30, 40 minutes, something like that. And it's definitely worth the wait. And then the second time we had the fast pass. I would recommend it to anybody. Like, I just enjoy that ride every time. I can't really explain it to you. I don't know. I just really enjoy that ride. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So we had a fast pass for it. It was my first roller coaster. I would have never rode it on my own. I essentially got peer pressured into it, and I don't ever see myself riding it again. It's a very popular ride. I don't ride roller coasters, but I decided that I would just because I got peer pressured into it. Soarin', we ride it every time. It's an amazing ride. It's worth the wait. We had a fast pass, but it's still worth every minute that you wait for it. Spaceship Earth, again, it's a very popular ride. It's worth the wait. We had a fast pass for it. The Tree Awakening, they do this every like 15 minutes or something once it starts getting dark at Animal Kingdom. So there is no fast pass, you just gather around the Tree of Life. Now that we've seen it once, we probably won't ever do it again. It was pretty, but it wasn't anything like super spectacular. Rivers of Light. So we had a fast pass for this, and we were told by the cast members to come back, like, say the fast pass started at like 8:30 or something, and we asked the cast member if this particular place is where we went in, and they were like, yeah, come back in like 15 minutes because we're gonna start letting people in early. And they were letting people in like 15 minutes early, and we're like, oh, okay, cool, awesome, we're gonna get a good seat. So we showed up at like probably 20 minutes early, which was like 5-10 minutes before they even told us to be there, and they were already letting people in. So they were letting people in like 30 minutes early instead of 15, and we got a crappy seat, and we were supposed to have fast passes, and we got like the very back side of this one seat, like seating area, couldn't see. It was cold, and the Rivers of Light wasn't all that good anyway. Like, it was pretty for what we could see, and I don't know, we just didn't have a very good experience with it. Like, maybe if we had better seats and the cast members had told us the correct time, you know, instead of being like, oh, we're gonna let you in 15 minutes early, but then they were letting people in 15-20 minutes earlier than even that, you know, maybe it would have been a little bit better, instead of, you know, we were almost the last row. We were the second to last row in the first section, and we were really, really early. And then we sat there for, I think it was almost an hour before the show even started, because they sat us so early, and then we got crappy seats on top of sitting so early. I mean, it was just a bad experience altogether. And then for a show, for it to be such a bad experience, we're probably never going to give it another chance, which is sad because it probably could have been a good show. So, Rivers of Light is nothing that we're probably ever going to watch again. Fantasmic, amazing. We go and see that each time. Like, I would go watch that each night if we could. Illuminations we've seen that twice now, and the second time was the best seats and the best showing we've ever seen. We got to watch it from the Rose and Crown viewing area this go around, and it was amazing. Like, if you have Rose and Crown dining reservations at the time that Illuminations are gonna start, then you're in for a treat, because it was amazing to watch from there. Happily Ever After. So I never got to see Wishes when we went the first time, so I don't have that to compare to, but Happily Ever After is amazing. I can't imagine Wishes being anything close to Happily Ever After, so I'd watch it. Like, if you get a chance, watch it every single time that you can. Like, oh man, it's so good. I cried almost every time that I watched it. Like, it was so good. And then the last thing I'm gonna go over is the Festival of Fantasy Parade. We watched it twice from 2 different vantage points from across the street from each other, and it was so very good. That is an amazing parade. Again, I've only seen parts of the Boo to You parade because I got sick during that parade, and I again don't have much to compare it to, but that parade is amazing. And the fact that Prince Philip is in that parade, and the Maleficent float is awesome, and she breathes fire, and I mean, there's so much good stuff going in that parade, and those floats are amazing, and the music that they play during the parade is, I mean, that stuff's catchy, and I wish they would sell those CDs like during the storm. If you can hear the thunder, the storm's starting up again. The CDs, I think you can only buy them in the park, and they should sell them through the app, because I would buy all the CDs. So, but yeah, the parade is more than worth watching every single time that you can, because that is a wonderful parade. But I think I hit the high points, and I'm hoping that I did that justice. But overall, Disney was wonderful. The annual pass was more than worth it. The memory maker with the annual pass, and even without it, is worth it. The staying on resort at Riverside, if and when we go back, I Riverside would be my place of choice. And just overall, I couldn't imagine never going back to Disney. Just Disney is the land of magic, and it is that way for a reason. They do it right. So again, if you ever have a magic moment, be sure to tweet at them and remember the hashtag cast compliment to let them know they're doing a good job. And then I will have the second video out. It should come out later next week as well. By the time you see this one, it'll be later this week. And that one is the review of all the food that I had while at Disney. I will also include like pictures of everything, well, pictures of stuff I at least remember to take pictures of while, you know, included in the video as well, and prices and all that good stuff of what I have anyway. So but yeah, be sure to like the video. Questions for anything that I didn't go over or kind of confusingly explained, if I didn't clarify very well. If I missed anything, let me know. I tried to stick to the list, but if I missed anything, let me know. I feel like I got most of it. I was trying to stay within a certain parameter so I didn't ramble off too terribly much. And yeah, so just let me know if I missed anything, questions about anything. I'll try to clarify. But yeah, like the video, share it with your friends, don't forget to subscribe, and then watch out for the food review that'll be later this week. And then I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!